There is one thing successful people know that most people will never figure out. And it's not talent, luck, or connections. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how the mind of a high achiever works. And more importantly, you'll discover the one pattern that keeps showing up in every success story throughout history. But here's the part that might surprise you. This pattern has nothing to do with what you think it does. Most people believe success is random. They look at someone wealthy, fulfilled, and thriving, and they tell themselves a story. They were born with it. They got lucky. They knew the right people. That story feels comfortable. It protects you from a much more uncomfortable truth. That success follows a predictable psychological architecture, and the people who build it to do so deliberately, day after day, without waiting for permission. Think about the last time you started something important and didn't finish it. A diet, a business idea, a relationship, something inside you already knew what to do. Yet something else, something louder, told you it was too hard, too risky, too soon. That voice is not your enemy. It is simply pattern running on autopilot. And patterns can be changed. Here's what most people don't realize. Successful individuals don't think differently because they succeeded. They succeeded because they started thinking differently first. The mind precedes the results, always. Before the business existed, there was a belief. Before the championship, there was a daily display that nobody saw. Before the breakthrough, there was a period of silence so uncomfortable that most people quit right before the door opened. The first pattern is this. High achievers have a fundamentally different relationship with discomfort. While most people treat discomfort as a signal to stop, successful people have trained themselves to treat it as a signal to continue. Discomfort for them is data. It tells them they are close to something real. Every time life pushes, they lean in instead of pulling back. This is not a personality trait. It is a learned response built through repetition, starting with small decisions and expanding outward. This is where it gets interesting. Because the emotion underneath all of this is not an ambition. It is not drive. The real emotion is fear. The same fear you feel, the difference is not the absence of fear in successful people. The difference is what they do with it. They feel the fear and they move away anyway. Not because they are fearless, but because they have made a deeper commitment to their future self than to their current comfort. Every morning they are quietly choosing between the version of themselves that stays small and the version that grows. They make that choice before the world wakes up. They make it in the silence where no one is watching. And the second repeating pattern is the architecture of belief. Successful people build their internal narrative the same way an engineer builds a structure, deliberately, methodically, and with a clear understanding that what goes in determines what comes out. They don't wait to feel confident before they act. They act and confidence follows. They understand something most people have backwards. Clarity doesn't come before action. Clarity is a product of action. Now, here's where the story takes a turn that most people miss entirely. You would expect that people who achieve great things have fewer doubts, fewer setbacks, fewer moments of wanting to walk away. The data says the opposite. High achievers report more moments of doubt, not fewer. More sleepless nights, more periods of uncertainty. What separates them is not the absence of those moments. It's the meaning they assign to them. Where one person sees a sign to quit, another sees evidence that they are in the arena, which is exactly where they are supposed to be. The third pattern is ruthless prioritization. Successful people have a near-obsessive ability to identify what matters most and protect that thing with everything they have. They say no with confidence. They guard their time like a resource with an expiration date. Because it is. They understand that every yes to do something important is a no to something that could change their life. This is not coldness. This is clarity. And clarity over time compounds into extraordinary results. But there is a fourth pattern, and this is one almost nobody talks about. It is the one that will either hold you back or launch you forward. It has to do with identity. The most successful people in any field, business, athletics, art, and science, don't just do things differently. They see themselves differently. They have constructed an identity that is aligned with where they are going, not where they are. They say, I am someone who doesn't quit before they have proof of it. They say, I am someone who creates value before the revenue validates. They live inside the future version of themselves before the world has caught up. This internal commitment creates a gravitational pull that shapes every decision, every conversation, every reaction. And now you understand something most people spend their entire lives never learning. Success is not a result, it is a reflection. It reflects the pattern of thoughts you've been running, the identity you've been inhabiting, the fear you've been feeding or facing. The people you look up to are not operating on a different playing field. They are operating with a different internal script. One that was written through conscious repetition, painful self-examination, and the daily decision to grow rather than hide. So here's the thing that was promised at the beginning, the part that might surprise you. The repeating pattern in every success story is not a strategy. It's a choice made quietly, made daily, made in the moments when no one is watching and every instinct tells you to stop. The mind that chooses growth over comfort, identity over ego, and action over certainty, that mind doesn't stumble into success. It builds it brick by brick in the dark, long before the world turned the lights on. You already know what you need to do now. The only question left is whether you will choose to do it today.